What's going on, everybody? Dennis here again. In this video, we're going to be going over how to tell when alt season is upon us and what to look for specifically, especially, as we transition over towards the end of a bear market going into a new bull market. You're really going to want to understand, how to navigate this piece because a lot of people are going to say, well, oh, bear market, bull market, where, things are going lower. Well, I'm just going to equip you with the proper tools and the proper charts to kind of walk you through that because I think it's genuinely important for you guys to be educated. So I'm going to go over to TradingView, and the first chart I want to go through is the total market cap. For those of you guys don't mind these charts, I'm just going to delete all these drawings. For those of you guys that don't know, total crypto total market cap, total 1, total 2, and total 3 are the charts that I track the most to kind of get an understanding for how the entire crypto market is doing. So in this case, this is the total market cap. So total 1, this tracks the entire crypto market cap, including Bitcoin, and this just tells you, we peaked at around $3 trillion worth of market cap, and now we're sitting at roughly 1.5 trillion. So if anything, that tells you, we're very undervalued relative to, where we were. So right now, if I were to map this out, we're clearly range bound, stuck in this range, right? I would say that's my range high. This is my range low right here. And I always like to do a fib draw where you have your quarterlies, but then I'll also draw my mid range right here. And then let's make this mid range in white. So this is the monthly time frame. Again, super high time frame charts, but again, looking at this monthly time frame, the previous month close was pretty bearish. This month, we closed it in literally almost a day. If we close green this way, it could be something where we might revisit the range high, considering we're at the mid range, come up here and maybe take out these highs again. Something that's totally possible. That would look like this, right? Come up and maybe get back inside, and then we come down to the bottom side of the range. Ultimately, when you're trading ranges, even from like this high time frame, you're better off buying the lower parts of the range. And typically in range trading, you will usually get a revisit of the range low, especially when there's been an efficient move. One other point that I want to make is the stochastic RSI on the monthly time frame is sitting very, very high for the total market cap. And if you look at previous times where it's been at these levels, we've gotten an aggressive dip, right? Even here. So this one happened over the first bull, like the first leg of the bull cycle. I would consider this significantly different based off of where we are in the market, right? So what you want to think about really is, because we're in a bear market, it almost would make more sense to compare this where we are currently with the stochastic RSI to where we were in 2019, right? So again, very similar. Very similar. We had a huge pump going into the middle of the year, and then we kind of went sideways and down, right? So price action typically is fractal. So if history it doesn't repeat itself, but if it does rhyme, I would say, well, it's likely that we are in this part of the market. And I would say it's likely that, we do something like this going into 2024, where we have the halving narrative. Hopefully a new president of the United States could help change some narrative. So that's one thing I want to point out. Zooming into the weekly time frame, you can clearly see that price action came to the mid-range and bounced off of it. The weekly stochastic RSI is sitting up here. A really key point of contention for me would be this 1.13 level right before the sell-off. It seems like price action really struggled to get above, to get back up here once we broke down. But then if you see this, you notice we're almost at a trend line. So let me zoom into the daily time frame and look, right? The daily time frame says, okay, well, yeah, we're also stuck in another range. So if I were to grab my fib tool, I'd say, okay, well, cool, right? We're almost stuck between this high at 1.07 and my macro mid range. So that's kind of how I want to formulate the way you guys think about ranges. Is it's always a big range with a small range within a bigger range within a bigger range. That's huge. So we're basically stuck between this 1.07 level and this 979 79 billion level, and we have this high time frame trend line as confluence to consider. Again, the last daily close that we had was kind of indecisive, so we really want to see what happens. Zooming into the 4 hour chart, seems like we are getting some contention on that trend line. We're getting some rejection off of it, but that doesn't stop us from potentially coming down, filling the small imbalance, and moving forward. But anyways, we don't have to get into the weeds. I feel like I'm already talking too much about this. This is one thing to consider when you're thinking about alt season. The second, that is probably my favorite one, is total 2. So total 2 is the entire crypto market cap excluding Bitcoin, because Ethereum technically, it depends on who you are, but a lot of people don't consider ETH a an altcoin anymore, which doesn't technically make sense to me. But again, same thing. You draw a range. Look at where we are, right? Slightly below the mid range. Who's to say that we don't, potentially do something like this, come back up, take out these wicks, and then move down, or we just reject completely off the mid range, deviate it slightly, right? So this is, again, this temporarily speaking to me is looking more bullish than it is bearish. You draw a small trend line too right here. We're probably gonna, we get a break out of it. We could, we could potentially revisit the range high and get everyone super bullish again. Okay, that's chart number 2. Last chart that I want to walk you guys through is the ETH BTC chart. So this is ETH with Bitcoin as a denominator. So this chart is really interesting, right? So you can tell that there's different kinds of ranges here. Currently, we're stuck in this range right here, right? And if, same thing, draw the little fib out, we're getting to the lower parts of the range. So price action could potentially get rather bullish. But I also want to keep you guys aware that we are still in a bigger range at play. So the bigger range could look something like this, right? Where you're sitting right along here, right? Within this big range, look at the mid range, right? So you want to get bullish, you almost want to see a reclaim of this level here at this 0.07 level, or unlikely, it's more likely that we're probably going to come down here and retest the low, but not before we get some price action moving up, right? So we have this clear trend line coming here. We potentially get a breakout. That could be the alt season that everyone's calling for. Everyone calls for alt season. Price action deviates this. Boom, short, alts, boom, we bleed, and then we eventually come back to this low, where I think eventually that would be a really good buying opportunity for anybody that's trading this range on a very high time frame standpoint. Remember, I'm looking at the monthly and the weekly time frame. I'm not even touching the daily to me, because even on the daily, I zoom in even more and I'm like, I don't know if this has much legs, because we have a lot of support right above us. So you guys just got to be really careful when you're looking at alt season, or what people call alt season, just because again, we're still in a bear market, guys. The bear market will literally change when the Fed decides that inflation is under control and they start printing the money. Remember, literally since 2008, we've been in a bull market for 10 years up until 2020. Why? Because we broke something in 2008, they started printing money, and then in 2020 we had COVID. COVID caused another time to print a ton of money. Over the next year and a half, you literally saw everything in their mother go up and to the right. Every single asset class pumped. And then after that, the Fed said, nah, we're done. We got to chill. We got to not print money. We got to be careful. And now the Fed's fighting inflation because they need to keep inflation under control. They do that by increasing interest rates and they do that by increasing interest rates. And until inflation is under control and interest rates, like we don't hike any more interest rates, there won't be a bull market, is kind of my take. So definitely keep that in mind. When you see the money printer go burr, dude, and we enter that recession that everyone's been talking about, that's when you need to have buying power. That's when you need to have cash. That's when you need to be ready. You need to buy some Solana. You need to buy some ETH. You need to buy what's another? You need to buy some Polygon. Even you need to buy. I don't even like Chainlink, but shit, they're going to be around. You need to buy some Uniswaps for some DeFi. You need to buy all kinds of stuff. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. My name's Dennis. Like and subscribe. Follow for more, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Happy Friday. Peace.